Welcome everyone, my name is Paula Phillips, also known as JournalArtista, and this is a second video. Oh my goodness, you can see my crazy shirt. Let me fix my camera. I do not have the right angle anymore. Let's see if we go the right way. There we go. That's better. So for tonight's show, I really enjoyed last week. And if you remember last week, I reviewed the book. Last week we did Flavor for Mixed Media by Maribel Shaw. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I love seeing Colleen, Esther Webb, or Esther Joyce. There's a bunch of people. Leslie, I know. There's a bunch of, I don't want to miss anybody, but I really appreciate seeing everybody's work. All right, enjoy, Dee Dee. See you later. So I enjoyed seeing everybody's work that came out of that show. So I thought, okay, this Wednesday we'll do another book. So when I'm reviewing these books, guys, we're going to do a quick flip through and I'll give my 2 cents on how I feel about the book and such. But I'm not doing every technique in these books. I'm only going to sample one technique and do a little review of the book to see whether you'd like to purchase it or not. So tonight we're going to use Tracy Bautista's Printmaking Unleashed. More than 50 techniques for expressive mark making. And now, Tracy Bautista was one of the first mixed media artists or art journalers I saw when I started art journaling a long time ago. Her first book, which I always get confused because there's printmaking, mark making, and collage unleashed. I think Collage Unleashed was the first. I am going to eventually I have all three and I'm going to do a review on all of them. But I thought we would start with Printmaking, which is her third book. So we're going to go in reverse. And so Tracy Bautista, I've loved her from the beginning. I've taken online classes from her. I love her style. But I really have enjoyed all of her books. Excuse me. So Printmaking Unleashed, and what's fun about this book is it's a whole bunch of printing ideas that don't involve a jelly plate. Now you can use a bunch of the tools that she helps you create on your jelly plate, but you don't have to have a jelly plate, you know, to do the techniques in this book, which is awesome. So, you know, you can transfer it to if you have a jelly plate, but it also gives you alternatives if you don't have a jelly plate to do some printing, which we'll be doing some of that tonight. Again, this is Tracy Bautista, and I'll have links on the YouTube video when we show it. So get that out. Tonight we're going to be working on, oh, where's my little flaggy flag here? We're going to be on page 52, which is plastic freezer bag masks. If you are going to follow along, I did cut out a couple, so you will need some kind of baggies or such thing. I'm also going to try it with a Grand and Toy page protector. So that's what we're going to do. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about my Midori, show you what I've been doing lately, and then we'll get on to that. So I'm excited because I haven't tried, and when I'm reviewing these books, I think for me anyways, what I want to try to be as honest as possible and transparent as possible. So what that means is I haven't pre-done this. I'm choosing techniques or pages out of these books that I haven't tried yet, so that, you know, I'm going to follow step by step and you can see, you know, how I go through it. If you know what I mean, Vern. Alright, so you guys have seen most of this for February. Speaking of Tracy Bautista, she also sells stamps and collage kits and stuff. She has stamps over at stampington.com, but she has an Etsy site that you can go and find her stuff at as well. So the past couple days since I saw you, I think I talked about the chai tea. Oh, no, since I saw you, I did this one. Hi, Kathy. I am 50 Shades of Grumpy Pants. Boy, was I grumpy that day. you guys help me get out of it. So I drew. First, I didn't draw. First, I just wrote grumpy, I don't know how many times on a piece of just plain white copy paper. And then I drew pants over it and cut it out and then used a little bit of watercolor. So you notice this was from Saturday. So this paper here is what we made. This is scrapbook paper that we did on Saturday that we used the stencils on and all of that. Whoops, I'm pointing, you guys can't even see. Ah. So I had fun with that. I also had a little, I was going to say it's deli paper, but it's not. It's jelly printed Tim Holtz tissue wrap with the Sticker Nation sticker. This is a Sticker Nation sticker. Then it was my mom's birthday on Sunday, so I did a page on that. And before I did anything on this page, I may have had it laid down a color or some random stuff, but I just used a ballpoint pen to journal. And then as I added all the other layers, as you can see, it's still coming through, right? Your ballpoint pen comes through. So I could, if I looked hard enough, I could still read what I wrote about that day. And there's some balloons. Some balloons. And then this was Monday. It was freezing. It's been freezing in Toronto, below 0 temperatures for the last month. Craziness. And it's not going to stop. Not going to stop. Sorry, I'm all over the place. So I'm going to put this down for a second. I had a really busy background going on under this. And, you know, I went one step too far with this black stencil here, this number stencil. So when I found this collage, you know, it was out of a magazine. This buddy standing on a rock there on a beach. I thought it was perfect. And then I just added some paint around it, and it kind of, so you can kind of see a little bit of the background, but not. But it was fun doing that because it's freezing. So that's why I wanted to. I really need a beach right now. That's for sure. So yesterday was when I went out with Carrie. So I haven't really started other than a little bit of paint, and I made a tip-in out of a piece of scrapbook paper there because I thought I would have more to write about. And I also wanted to have a place to put some of the business cards, right? So this is Mr. Pen, mrpen.us is the thing. And so I tipped out those as well so that I could do something underneath or whatnot. But also because I wanted to see, oops, that's where we had lunch. I also wanted to be able to see the back, right? Rather than, first I thought I'll just staple them onto the page, but then I wouldn't be able to flip it over and see what was on the back of the business card. So I've definitely got to catch up tonight because this was yesterday. So I have to catch up from yesterday and do a page for today. So I'm a little behind. So I just want to give you an update of what I'm doing in there. I did 10 daily pages so far, so that's pretty excited about that. Okay, back to Printmaking Unleashed. What I want to say about Tracy Bautista's book, particularly this one, everything, as you can see, hopefully you can see, is step by step, right? For example, this is a printing tool, deconstructed paper printing plates. So she shows you how to make different printing plates to, you know, use either on your jelly plate or with other printing methods, right? Gives you all these tips, step by step, pictures everywhere. But also then on the next page, she has an exercise. Okay, now you made the texture plate or printing, you know, whatever the technique she's teaching us. And then on the next page, she shows the exercise, you know, putting it into action, how to actually use it, which is awesome. So the first section is surface design and printmaking tools. So how to make your own tools. Then it's printmaking techniques in part 2. So same type of thing, you know, printing on collage podge skins. So she talks a lot about acrylic skins or collage. She has a product called, Tracy Bautista does, which is sometimes harder. I bought mine in the US, called Collage Podge. They comes in matte, glossy, and I have, these are both matte. I must really like matte. I definitely like matte. But I also have, sorry, I got another one here somewhere. I have one with sparklies in it. I'm not sure if they still make the sparkle one. Instant decoupage sparkles. Now these are made by Aleene's. They are made by Aleene's. I don't use a lot of gloss, which is why I don't have gloss. But it's a water-resistant glue, sealer, and finish. The sparkle one is very cool. But all of these I bought in the US. Excuse me. Woo! I have to take a sip. Alright, so she uses a lot of techniques on how to create skins with Collage Podge. So you have to take a... It's not really, Jean, in my opinion. See, all of these things, right, these companies, it is a glue. It's like matte medium or Mod Podge, right? They're the same type of product, same type. It's almost the same consistency, and you would use it in the same way. Yes, you would use it. In my opinion, you use it in the same way. I've had those for a while there, and at the back. You know, so again, lots of printmaking techniques. I just love her style. And it doesn't, just because, you know, if you don't like how, I don't want to say her style is messy, necessarily. Maybe might not be the right word, right? But she has a very distinct style, which I absolutely love. But that doesn't mean if you're more of a streamlined, you like your pages a little bit more, I don't know if streamline is the right word. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that the techniques can still transfer to whatever style you like to create it. So Mod Podge, you know, we tried Mod Podge the other night to use like matte meat, and I even used matte Mod Podge, and it was still shiny. It was not the same as matte medium or even clear gesso. It didn't have as much tooth. It wasn't shiny, but it was a little bit shiny. Like, it wasn't, you know, gloss, but it was shiny, which to me didn't have as much tooth and didn't, you know, didn't make the technique worse, but it wasn't exactly what I expected. Hey, Laurel. Good to see you, my friend. All right, but we are going to be on page, like I said, I just wanted to give you a little, there are so many ideas in here, guys, that you can go on forever, and I absolutely love this book. Alright, but we are going to start on page, where's my little marker? The technique we are going to use out of this is making a tool on page 52, plastic freezer bag masks. So like I said, I haven't tried this. Let's see how we go. I do have my little book here I've been using, a Canson Mixed Media Journal, the past couple of shows. So there's lots of, I've had this journal for a while, and as you can see, there's lots of stencils in here. Oh, there's one of Karen Ellis' stencils from the Crafted Workshop. So as you can see, there's lots of already inked pages hanging around. I'm trying to only do one side because I'm trying to take notes of what happened or what went wrong. So this is what we did Saturday night, right? You know, what I want to change different, what I want to change for next time. So I got all these other pages. So I'm going to try to work on one page. That's what we did last Wednesday with Mary Beth Shaw's book. So I'm going to try to, let's see. I'll use that page. See all the spillage I got going on? Lots of spillage. And with this particular technique, it talks about using more than one piece of paper at a time. So I'm just going to rip out a sheet of paper. These Canson Mixed Media Journals, XL Mixed Media Journals, have perforated pages. Welcome, Wens. Oh, Laurel's in Virginia. Oh, that's wonderful. I have so many wonderful memories from our road trip. Okay, so I'm going to start using, I'm going to do most of the exercise in the book, And then I'll use this other piece, which already has a whole bunch of stuff on it. But we'll use this side of the paper and see how we do. See how we do. Okay, so for the sake of time, I did want to try out a couple things. So she's suggesting to use gallon-sized freezer bags. And like I said, I'm only going to do, this is just a little review. There's how many techniques in this bad boy? 50 techniques. And we're doing one, right? We're just doing one out of each book. And hopefully you'll be inspired and purchase the book for yourself. This particular one, I really love. I suppose I'm going to show you all the books that I love, right? But anyway. Okay, so it says that we need gallon-sized freezer bags, scissors, drawing paper. I'm going to use some paper from my Canson Mixed Media journal here. Some fluid acrylic paint and spray inks. Ooh, I got my inks out, but I didn't get my fluid acrylics. So I shall choose a couple of colors of that. Alright, couple colors of fluid. One is Try Art, which is a Canadian brand. This one is golden. So again, fluid acrylics are a little bit more runny, or if shall we say, than everybody. You can also create your own if you have glazing medium or a polymer or matte medium. You can extend your own paints, right? You don't have to use fluid acrylics if you don't want to, or if you don't have them, you can use your heavy body paint and mix your own fluids. Okay, deli and construction paper. So she's just using a bunch of different papers. I'm going to use what's in my mixed media journal here. I do have some deli paper under me if I need to use it. Okay, cut and spray stencils. So what she's saying is cut apart a freezer bag into large squares or rectangles that will fit over the printing paper. Create symmetrical masks by folding the pieces of plastic in half and cutting out half of the stencil shapes. She chose to cut out flowers and leaves. Alright, so beforehand, I tried different bags. Now, I don't have any freezer bags. Particular freezer bags. I don't know why. I usually do. Always do. I guess I ran out. I need to add it to my list. But I did find these Glad bags. Have you guys seen them? They have gussets on the bottom. So if you put stuff, it's new. So you can put stuff in your bag and it stands up in a Ziploc bag. That's coolage. So, but anyways, I sacrificed one and cut her up. Because I wanted to try out different bags here. I might be hard to see. It's definitely going to be hard to see. Oh, maybe not. Maybe see. So what I did was, first I started with the no-name sandwich bag. Alright. And I just folded it and started to cut it. So I didn't fold it. Let's go back. All I did was take a sandwich bag. I didn't open it because you don't really want any air in it, right? I know this is so hard to see because they're clear. Once we start throwing some paint and ink, it will be good. I folded it like I would a piece of paper, like if I was making a snowflake. So I just went up to the edge where the Ziploc is. I didn't go all the way to where the zip was. I just went up that far. Tracy Bautista says in her book that to cut apart the bags first. But anyways, I didn't do that. I just folded it up, and then I folded it again, and I folded it a third time, and then I just cut it like I would a snowflake if I was cutting a pattern in a snowflake. Now, this is a cheap, I think it's a Life brand, which is Shoppers Drug Mart bag. Bye, Wens. Thanks for coming. It was slippery. It was hard for me to cut even these triangles out of the bag. Because it just kept on slipping. Because this is a cheap, like this is thin plastic. So maybe not the best choice. So I thought, okay, I have these snack size bags. They're actually made by Ziploc, so they are a little bit more sturdy than the no-name brand. And I was able to fold it up again. Let's see, can you see that? And get some rectangles out of it. This is brutal. Can't see anything. Hold on, let's see. need a sheet of paper or something that has some print on it. Like, you think that I would have something like that lying around? Put this in here for a second. See if it'll show up on here. It's not going to show up on any of them, so I guess it doesn't matter. Hi, Leslie. You could absolutely run it through a die cutter. You can run anything through a die cutter. Maybe, you know, like Tracy Bautista suggests, is to cut them open first, right? You might need some extra shims or something. So I did get a print, you know, or some type of pattern out of this. Again, very flimsy, which I imagine is why Tracy says to use freezer bags, which are thicker, right? And I don't have freezer bags. Exactly, Anita. The freezer bags are much thicker. And I didn't have those. But it did work a lot better on these Glad bags that have the gussets on the bottom. Because again, these are thicker. So on freezer bags, it's definitely going to work out better. So I am going to cut this bad boy. I'm going to cut off the zipper. And cut off where the gusset is on the bottom. I didn't cut, when I folded this and when I cutted this stencil, when I folded and cut the stencil, I left the gusset on there. So this is thin. Oh boy, and it's staticky. It's staticky. Lots of static. I don't know. Let's see what happens if I don't cut it apart, because I have two, you know, technically two little put black behind there. I think that'll help. I think I can find some. Maybe put it on top of the ginormous sketchbook. Does that help? Oh yes, thanks, Laura. All right. So I could separate and have. You could tape it to some paper. Yeah, exactly. If you're going to run it through a die cutter, it's just plastic, right? And tonight, I'm also going to use. I'm also going to try a page protector to use the same way. It's a little bit. This one is a Staples brand. It's not the thickest, but we'll try it. So I'm thinking if I should cut this apart. It's so thin, and there may be a little bit of. I have all these ones. We're going to try. I'm going to cut the zipper off of this as well. What I'm worried about is static electricity. A little bit of static. So I'm still going to try them, right? I mean, I don't have freezer bags, so I'm going to use what I have and try it out. And I think this, I think it'll work just as well. Maybe not just as, and it won't be as durable, I suppose, you know. Alright, well, this page protector's already folded up. So let's try it again. I'll fold it like a flag, like I'm going to cut out a snowflake. Let's see. Now, this is where we need Mitzi scissors of death. And I always say that, guys. I know I should explain myself. Mitzi, my wonderful friend Mitzi, gave a bunch of us some scissors, and let me tell you, they are the sharpest scissors going. I cut myself with them. They are that sharp. Alright, I can't find them, so we're just going to use some scissors. So it's slippery business. Hey, Darcy, this is slippery business when you try to cut. When you try to cut into a page protector or plastic. So I try to hold it. Now, like I said, this is the first time I'm trying it, so I'm sure people can perfect it. Maybe if you used a clip or something to hold it together. Like maybe, let's see if I got. I thought. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna knock something over there. I have itty bitty clips. I thought I had some paper clips, but I do not. Let's see if the little bulldog clip holds her up a little bit there. So it's, like I said, slippery business. But it's fun to make your own stuff. I mean, you could draw on this. You could, but I'm just making something fun. You can take your time making something, but we're just going to have a little bit of fun creating something different. So I'm just drawing. I'm just cutting little rectangles out of this. So rectangles, but it's definitely cutting easier than the cheaper Ziploc bags. I'm going to have to go out tomorrow and get some real Ziploc bags. Or maybe just tell Simon to bring some home. So again, just cutting that out. Just doing some random stuff, having fun. Much easier to cut. Still kind of tricky. It's slippery, right? Still kind of tricky with page protector, but it's definitely doable. All right, so it doesn't have to be anything exciting, right? We are trying to just create something fun, create a background layer, and see what happens. All right. That's bad news. Why did I choose a page protector that had a crease in it? It's all right. We shall find something cool anyways. So as you can see, in the book, Tracy actually cut out some flowers. If you can see on her one. She cut out some flowers, so I'm going to try some random stuff here instead. Okay. So we shall try with this one. Hard to see, I know. So again, I'm going to be working in this book. It already has some spray going on. I'm okay with that. It's a little puffy. It's because I worked on some pages on the other side. Okay, so we're going to use this as a stencil. Let's go back. And it says, okay, place stencils over paper and spray with inks. So a couple of inks I chose today. I got some Dilutions in teal. Why does that say? I thought it was Calypso teal. Yeah, Calypso teal. Sorry, it looks like Campso teal, the way it's written. Calypso teal, Vibrant turquoise, and London blue Dilutions as well on the other side. So that's kind of blues and greeny type things. I have Squeezed Orange, Pure Sunshine, and I believe a red. Cherry Pie. Okay. Remember, I got my other piece of paper waiting. I take a little, hi Marie, Annabelle, Yvonne. Good to see everybody. I appreciate you choosing me over Survivor. No offense to anybody that is watching Survivor right now, because I've got mine taped. Okay, so I'm going to place my stencil over here. And again, I used a random page protector. In fact, it was all beat up because it's got marks on it and everything. So we're just playing, right? We're going to test something out, see how it works. That's what this journal is all about for me. So we'll try some teal and turquoise. I'm just going to use two colors. I'm going to use, let's try Vibrant Turquoise and London Blue. Now these are super pigmented. Super. Lots of pigment on these bad boys. So I'm going to try just for a little bit right over the page. I've got no gesso or nothing going on here, which could be problems later. I should say could be problems later. I shouldn't say that, but there's no gesso. It's a little blue, So see how it's staying on. This is some slippery plastic, right? So what happens is your spray inks are going to sit on top of the plastic. So here I have, again, random piece of paper that already has some type of ink on it. Let's put it on top. She says to use your hands or a brayer to soak some of it up. Now it already moved a little bit, I could tell. But look how cool this is. Hey, that's cool. It's random for sure. But it's just a little bit of spray. Oh, that's pretty. All right, what does she say next? I think she just says move it over and try and spray again. Let's see. Okay. Place a second piece of drawing paper over the first sheet while the ink is still wet. We did that. We did that. Pull apart the paper to reveal. This is what we got. So we got 2 prints sprayed on top, sprayed. Next is take a ghost print. Before we remove the stencil mask, place another piece of construction paper over the sprayed stencil. Rub to transfer ink to the page. I don't have any ink left on my... Oh, I guess I have a little bit. She's saying to use another piece of paper and do it again, but pretty much I've got all of that covered. Let's just find a piece of printer's paper here. I guess it depends on how much ink you're spraying on it, right? Are you really saturating it? Are you adding some water? You could also use a brayer. I have a hard brayer here. Excuse me, a tickle in my throat. You could use your brayer. But this is slippery, so there was a tiny bit of something left on that. And you don't, it might be awkward me using it in a book rather than using, you know, separate sheets of cardstock or watercolor paper or whatever you're using. I think it might be a little bit more slidey in my book here. Maybe if I opened it rather than having it, maybe if I opened it like that, it might be a little bit better. Plastic everywhere, my friends. All right, next step. Continue to make more prints and build layers on the pages. Okay, so we're going to repeat the process, I suppose, with different colors. And maybe we'll try also a different, so we'll move it around, and we'll go this way this time. I'm just going to spray right in between my journal there, right on the binding. So, same thing. Let's try a different color maybe. This one happens to be Calypso Teal. Spray a little bit. And I see why she says that you should use a, oh, already moved. Why you should use something that is as big as your paper, because then you get the overspray if you don't, right? So here is this. This time I'm only going to place down half. That's extra dark. Because this ink, let me tell you, it really, it's really concentrated. Really concentrated. Great. A lot of juice on that bad boy. So again, it's like mono printing, right? But we're using a Ziploc bag. Well, this one is a page protector, so we got a little bit. Well, let's try a Ziploc bag one now that I said that. We'll try a little zippy. Put this guy here. Let's try, maybe we'll put 2 down, 2 of the different ones I made. So like I said, this is the first time I'm trying it. So I'm just, you know, when you first time you try a technique or something new to you, I really try not to have any expectations of the outcome. I definitely don't compare my outcome to wherever I learned it from. And in this case is Tracy Bautista's Printmaking Unleashed book. You know, you have to release that stuff, and you know that's why I'm doing this off the cuff. I'm showing you the first time I do it because, hey, it could be a hot mess, right? Gotta try it. Let's try. Speaking of hot mess, let's try some yellow. We'll go on Pure Sunshine. So now I know it's hard to see, guys. I have 2 of the bags here. So spray it on that. How is it? Oh, there it is. I'm like, how is it possible? I've already lost. Alright, so we'll put this. This is very quickly becoming some very wet pages. Hi, Barb. Hi, Linda. Yeah, this is some hot mess. Like it's you know. All right. Well, see, you could have really, maybe I should have, again, this is why I'm going to take notes. I should have worked light to dark, right? I should have put down yellow first before I attempted to do any of those teal or darker colors, especially on these clean off prints. Now but there still is some ink on this bad boy, so I'm gonna flip them over, get out my brayer here. This happens to be a hard brayer, doesn't necessarily have to be necessarily a hard brayer. You just use your regular soft one, so you get a little bit of something there. What I like about this is it's random, right? You can't control, or it's hard anyways, to control what happens on plastic, especially when your plastic is a thin piece of sandwich bag, right? So you get some, you know, cool random stuff. And now I think I kind of like that yellow, so let's see. I do have this tiny bag here. Let's add a little bit more yellow with that. See, you even should hold it. Just the force of the spray coming out is moving my little plastic stencil here. Let's put it on this. So yeah, I'm trying to do this in the book. That's also gonna be a note for myself. You know, these, just like jelly, you know, if you're model printing with your jelly plate, lots of times it's not that I haven't had success printing in my book, but lots of times it's nice to print on separate sheets and then use these in your art journal or whatnot. So far, I mean, it's not too bad. Ignore this drippage from other pages. I definitely like the clean off prints, or the, you know, ghost prints. Take a little sip of coffee here. Yes, hi Linda. Hopefully I said hello to everybody here. I truly appreciate it, guys. I hope you enjoy these series. Give me some feedback whether you like this type of, when I do these type of reviews or not. All right, this is definitely starting to get very wet. This is just, you know, copy paper, and as you can see, it's I don't want to put a hole right through it, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so we did it a couple times. Maybe I'll just, I want to leave it in there because I want to write myself some notes. Let's go back to what she says next. So we have a couple different things, couple different ghost prints here, right? And what fun texture this type of thing looks. This type of thing inspires me, right? Because I mean, I have a lot of stencils, which I know a lot of you have a few stencils as well. But sometimes it's fun, like these. This is a very random stencil that is imperfect that I just cut out, right? So I think it's really fun to create this random stuff and then match it with other stencils that are from companies that are more, you know, then you could add other layers. This particular one, for example, from Stencil Girl. When you add more layers of something that's not so random, I think it'll be fun, you know, to make it your own. So you have some that you made and some other ones, and then it'll just create, you know, a little bit different type of look to your pages. I really like it. So I got 3 definitely distinct looks, right? And you need to play around with how much spray you put down. And it doesn't have to be dilution spray. Of course, you can use any type of spray. You could use spray that you made at home, of course. All right. Thanks, everybody. So next step, Bella barking. Okay, so now we're going to do some brayer prints. Roll out some fluid acrylic paint on a piece of deli paper palette. Now, is she talking about deli paper that's different than the deli paper that I have? You know what I mean, Vern? Because won't it just stick to the deli paper? Let's look in the her supply section. I mean, she makes masks and stencils and texture plates from many different things. I'm just reading real quick. It just says jelly paper. Well, let's try it, she says. Some jelly paper? Gosh, that's a tongue twister. Jelly. Alright, thanks to my wonderful friend Jane and Janet for sending me some. Okay, so again, not just because I now have a ginormous sketchbook, but this is why I need to do some rearranging, because I don't have enough room on my desk to fit all the stuff I want to fit. Okay, put this here. I got my plates ready. Let's try it. So we got a little deli paper here, and let's try some cerulean blue. Oh yeah, Asha is a licker, that's for sure. Well, they both are. Bella was a little scared. Sometimes when she first meets somebody, she gets a little scared. Okay, so I got a brayer. Got some fluid acrylic. I probably got the most ginormous brayer going. I should have used my mini Tim Holtz one. Or I shouldn't say Tim Holtz, it's Ranger. A little bit more paint. My fluid acrylic may not be so fluid. Alright. So, I brayered some paint. Let's go back over here. And everybody, cross your fingers, see what happens. I'm just going to braid, let's see what she says. Roll out fluid acrylic. We did that on deli paper palette. Place freezer bag masks onto the painted background. Ink your brayer on the deli paper and roll over the mask. Alright. So here's our mask. This one happens to be the page protector one. Slippery. This is slippery business. Let's see if I can, let's see what happens. Whoa. Slippery business. What the devil's going on here? Now, that didn't go so well. That didn't go so well. Probably because all the paint I wanted is now on this deli paper and not on the brayer. You know what I mean, Vern? Maybe when Tracy Bautista says deli paper, it's not the deli paper we use. So, what I'm going to use is my craft mat. Let's try it again with the non-stick craft mat. It's also quite possible that my Tri-Art fluid acrylic is not so fluid. I'm finding it hard to get out of the bottle, so that can't be good. Let's see. Hold the fort. Squeeze a little bit. I'm going to use some golden acrylic glazing liquid. Yeah, slippery business this is. Messy, slippery business. Let's move this over. So I just made my paint a little bit more, have a little bit more of a scuff. I thinned it out, shall we say. The paint might be too sticky. That's what I'm thinking. So I just added a little bit more. Let's see what happens. Hey, that's better. Maybe it was just my paint. Got a little bit better. But see how it rolls up on the brayer? And again, remember, I'm not using the exact materials that Tracy Bautista suggests, right? She suggested a freezer bag. I don't have a freezer bag. Simon's talking to the dogs. So it's definitely working better when you have when I have a thinner paint here. As you can see, it's a little, maybe not the right color, but it's a little something. It's messy. It's, it's mark making, and that's what Tracy Bautista does best, in my opinion, is a whole bunch of different mark making. So here I have different ways to make marks, I should say. I don't know. If you have something to ask me, you guys are, I'm not sure. If you have something to ask me, I'd love to see a heart or all caps so that I can see what you want. So I'm going to take this particular piece of paper. I'm going to stick it on down here. And this isn't one of the Ranger really, you know, squeaky brayers, so I apologize for that. It needs see, look, I think the dogs don't even like it. I think the dogs can hear that high squeal. Sorry about that. Alright, so let's take her off. Oh, that's cool. That's pretty. Now we're getting somewhere. So we're making random stuff. I love it. I love it. I love that one. That one turned out nice. Okay, let's see. Because this one is so much of the background stuff, let's try brayering. And this one is the page protector. It's real thin plastic, guys. It's real thin plastic. So let's add a little bit of our squeaky brayer. Sticky business. Not enough paint left over. It's already dry here. Boy, oh boy, dogs are barking up a storm. See, I couldn't even get anything off of that. Really. Jeez, Simon. Get your... Hold on a second. Simon? Simon? No, he's not even answering. I'm not sure if he knows I'm streaming. Got a little clean off my brayer here. I think what I'll do, I got too much, not enough space for what I want to do. Not enough space. Let's see. I'll draw in this with the end of my brayer here. Spray her with some water. Index dividers, exactly. Something maybe a little bit more thick. I'm sure freezer bags are thicker than... Excuse me while I try to find my spray bottle here. Spray this with water, see if I can pull it up. See if I can pull it up on a plain piece of paper here. Clean my brayer on the other side. This is just copy paper, so it's real thin. A little bit of something. Now I'm going to clean this up. Alright. We'll get a baby wipe here. You know, I don't want to let the fact, you know, you get books, you see inspiration, you say, I don't have, for me, for example, I don't have freezer bags. Oh, there you go. Can't do it. Oh, then I can't art. Then I, you know, make all these other excuses, right? You really got to use what you have. Know what I mean, Vern? You got to use what's around you. And, it doesn't mean it's going to come out bad because I don't have freezer bags and I'm using really thin sandwich bags instead. It just means it's going to come out different, right? Not necessarily bad, just different. So, in fact, now that I think about it, like, so now we have all this paint on this particular page protector, right? You know, once it starts getting layers of paint and stuff like this, it's definitely going to get more sturdy, I guess is the word I want to use. It's definitely going to get a little bit more sturdy. It's already flattened out a little bit with that, just with that little bit of blue paint on there. Okay, I'm going to lay it back over. Now let's go in with some of my, well, gotta be careful because I got a lot of blue. I'm just going to go in with some cherry red, see what happens. Cherry pie, dilutions. And this bad one is not working. Okay, if your dilutions and sprays don't work, of course you can soak the tips and fix them all. But from experience, don't keep pumping, and especially don't keep pumping while you're looking at it. If it's not coming out the first couple times, it probably needs to be rinsed. And you don't want to build up so much pressure within the pump that when it does release, it just sprays you in the face. I'm sure we've all been there, done that. So rather than fighting it, I'm just going to put down, use a different color. Alright, this one is orange. I'll use some squeezed orange. And look, I just sprayed over my hand. My hand's going to be orange for days. Alright. So instead, say this one we did always did the initial, you know, through the page protector or whatnot. This time I'll use this one as the cleanup print. So I'm going to flip her over and press it on top. Because remember, the spray is sticking on, you know, sticks on top of the plastic. I've got, just like printing with my jelly plate, I got papers everywhere. Papers everywhere. Put this on. Oh, yes. So that didn't turn out too much. This is definitely becoming a hot mess. But the fun thing of this, when you're, especially if you're using dilutions, I can, you know, you can start getting some real cool ghosting effects when you start using other paint on top, right? It's going to come up through the paint, the dilution spray does. See, just a little bit of orange there at the bottom. And of course, some of these are going to turn, you know, brown now. So you got to be careful. We don't want too much of a hot mess. Or I don't want too much of a muddy look. So I just got a little bit of orange there. But that could be fun. So, let's see. I definitely got some more on here. Let's try it again. See, if I just use, say, cardstock, 60-pound cardstock or something like that, see, my problem is with sprayers that don't spray is that I don't use them for so long and then they get clogged. I also am a premature sprayer. So when I do use my sprays, I don't push all the way down. I only go halfway, right? And lots of times when you only go halfway, you leave so much stuff in there, especially if you're using, you know, a spray that has glitter in it, for example. You're really supposed to press it all the way down, not just halfway. So not much on that. No. All right. But it is, like I said, it is definitely getting more sturdy. Let's try a little bit more of the brayering. Let's see if it works on this Glad bag. We'll try a different color of fluid acrylic, see if it's any better. What type of color? Let's try some white. This could be interesting, because remember, dilutions comes up through other paint. So, I don't know what, oh, Linda went to the grocery store with some ink on her face. See, my problem is also my problem with sprays that clog is I don't use them often enough. I'm not sure if I already said that out loud, quite possibly. And see, these Tri-Arts, I treasured them for too long and now they are no longer fluid. So I'm just using some glazing medium or polymer medium, whatever you got going on, to thin it down. To thin it down. Let's see. Alright, so we got some white. Let's try it. So on this particular one, let's try this one is it's not a freezer bag. It's a Ziploc bag, but it's not freezer. So let's try this. That's a lot of white. Ooh, cool. Cool. So you just see a little bit of white there, but as the dilution is just going to start coming through that, and it's going to be awesome. So I'm going to turn this bad boy over, see how much paint I got on that. In fact, maybe not on that one. I want to try to put it on this one. Let's lay it down. Where's my squeaky brayer? Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Cindy is right. There's nothing wrong with the sprayer, right? You can just go soak them, take them into the sink, soak the lid, soak the sprayer part a little bit, and you're back in business. They're not garbage. I just put them off to the side, and then I do a couple at a time. Definitely not garbage. Ooh, I like that. This one's definitely working well. Let's try it on here. I got so much white. See, a little bit of white paint, but once I mixed it in with that, once I mixed it with the glazing liquid, it really turned into a lot of paint. So see how it, you know, like I say, sometimes a plastic bag is going to curl. You're not going to get the exact image, right, that you cut out, but it's fun. So maybe white wasn't the perfect choice. I think it kind of fades into the background, but it's a fun layer. Let's see. Put a bit of white there. That's fun. And so I've got all this paint on this bad boy. Let's put it right over here. Get our other brayer. So I got one brayer with paint and one brayer with no paint. So why I like this book, right, you know, or especially, you know, this particular technique, for example, is that you don't need a jelly plate, you don't need stencils, and you can make model prints. I think that's pretty awesome. And so you can barely see it because already that white, all of that dilutions is absorbed into the white. So let's try something. Let's try printing over something that's already in my journal. That's wet. Let's try a different journal. Let's see. Okay, for example, here I got this going on, right? This is a jelly plated. This actually is model prints from my jelly plate. So let's see how it works. Let's do it a couple times. We'll do it on it's stuck together at some parts. Okay, let's just do it twice. Do it here. Let's go for the one that has. And the glazes really do, or the fluid acrylics, have a little bit of longer open drying time. All right, so again, could be sketchy. So it's my paint is getting a little bit thick, so you can see it's really moving the plastic bag around more. Maybe it was too dry, so I'm gonna flip it over down here. Or this paint, I mean, was already too dry. Oh, I got pieces of plastic everywhere. Especially in the winter, I suppose. It's extra, it's dry, right? So no humidity in the air, so it means everything's even more staticky. And see, shout out to Dee Dee, I'd have no problem gluing in one of these stencils into my journal. Know what I mean, Vern? And maybe it's easier because see, I still have 2 layers of this, right? Tracy Bautista, in her book, Printmaking Unleashed, what we're using as inspiration tonight, she uses freezer bags and she cuts it in half. JZ is just JZ, Gary. Jen is J Cats, JZ is JZ. But good to see you guys here. Alright. Ooh! So a little ghost print little ghost print here. I see a face. It's like weird eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Anyway, we could go on. But as you can see, this paint, I think it might have been dried a little bit too much. But let's pick this stuff up. I'm going to spray a little bit with some ink here. Let's mix that around maybe a little bit. I definitely should have got out some palette paper, eh? Let's see if I can draw in this. The tip of a pen. This is just my non-stick mat. Over. So I'm cleaning off my brayer and hopefully pulling some type of print here. Pressing hard. This is a hard brayer. That's just a whole bunch of one big blob of paint. But that's okay. Alright, let's clean this up now. Hi, JZ. Yeah, I'm still working out what time is good for me to stream on Wednesdays. I'm trying out different times. See what's good for me. And one thing I want to do, guys, here's something I want to throw out at you and get some feedback. I definitely get so many wonderful racks, and I want to give back a little bit. Now, it's hard for me because I don't have very much money currently because I'm still unemployed. So shipping, I have a lot of stuff to rack, but not so much money for shipping, right? So I thought one thing I could do is create, normally if I'm working on something like tonight, right? I am working on this main page, but I also have this piece of paper and this piece of paper. And if I'm working on something else, I mean, I have this going on. If I'm working on something else, I have all this stuff around. So I wondered if people would like a giveaway out of after every stream of all of the, leftover stuff. So if I have leftover paint, instead of putting it in a different art journal, I was thinking maybe I'll have a separate sheet of paper and, create a separate page or some type of collage sheet. And then give that, give some leftover goodies away after every show of what we did that night. Then I could put it in a piece of, whether it's deli plates or, jelly prints or whatnot. But then I thought you can get a little something fun from me and it won't cost me lots of money. So just a thought. Tell me what you think about that. Maybe people don't want something like this, but I guess you don't have to play if you don't want some of the leftover stuff. Whether it's scrapbook paper, for example, like on Saturday, right? We didn't end up using them in the page, so I have all these little pieces. Well, that's easy for me to put in an envelope and ship out. All right, so here's what we got going on right now. A little bit of white, so you can see how, for example, here, it's a little bit different color because the green's coming through. Where up here, the white, see how it's really white right there? That's because this was paint. So the white, the white went on top of the blue paint, no problem. But dilutions goes through stuff, so does Adirondack Color Wash. So that's why it looks like it's a little bit green there. But this is looking cool. It's different. It's definitely different than something that I've ever done. Just really scanning and giving digital art. Well, I don't know how to. I'm so not techie, JZ. I really wish I was. I really wish I could learn how to, I don't know, do all that type of digital stuff. But it's a good idea. Linda says, I used up Liquitex gesso and mixed sawdust to make it thick like toothpaste. So you made your own texture paste? That's cool. But it's easy. I can easily afford, I've got lots of envelopes, that's for sure, and I can easily afford a stamp twice a week, right? But it's a little bit of goodies, and it's a way to give back, I hope. So I think about that. All right, so let's look at this page. Well, let's go back to see what Tracy says. So we just, we put our freezer bag mask into the background. So yes, we definitely did some paint and some flower shapes. These are some of her examples. See what I mean? She cut out a nice flower. And because she didn't fold it, she just cut it all out. She could use the inside of the mask as well, the positive and the negative. Rather, like I only, what would be good for this? Like old-fashioned transparencies for like overhead projectors or something. That's a little bit thicker. Yeah, stamped images, Cynthia, exactly. Things that, a napkin or two, like, look at these. I mean, I have all this napkin sitting right here, right? You can stuff quite a bit, because I wouldn't say the leftover stuff is awesome. But when you do a lot of artwork, you end up getting a lot of scraps. You get a lot of bits and pieces of stuff, right? All right, so while the plastic bag masks are still wet, turn them over and use them as a printing plate. We did that. Place them over original and roll over the back to use your clean, soft brayer. So we did that quite a few times, right? That's what we were doing here afterwards. We flipped it over and wiped it off. So work fast and build layers on pages with contrasting colors is what she suggests. So that was definitely fun. I think if I did it again, I shouldn't say if, when I do it again, I'm definitely going to try freezer bag, something a little bit thicker. Sorry if my stomach is growling, I didn't have dinner. That's what I mean about trying to find the right time for me to stream. Because this time is, we'll see. So, paper printing plates in action. Oh, sorry, I missed a page. Oh, that just went on there. So that is the whole section. It's just, and you can make whatever, whatever you want, right? Maybe if I was doing this over, maybe I'll do that. I think some black at this point would be nice, right? Let's use some of these plastic bags again and brayer out some black. So let's try, because not everybody has fluid acrylics, and truly, not everybody has matte medium or glazing liquid either. So let's try some. This is cheap $3 paint from Dollarama. When life gives you scraps, make quilts. Well, this is what I mean. This is just hanging behind me. Okay? This is a bag. It's from, no. So in here I have, and it gets all like this. So this isn't exactly what I'm sending you. So look, I have some dragon smack things like Dee Dee did today. Obviously, I'm not going to send you ones that are all folded up, But I just have some random stuff, right? Random. You just get all these little bits and pieces. And then when you do so much art, it overwhelms you. But it's also fun to share those type of bits and pieces with other people. Because that's different stuff. Other people have different stuff than you have. So I'm going to go back to this. I'm really liking this. This is different for me. But we're making marks. We're trying something new. And I think it's really cool. For a first time, right? For a first time, and not having the exact supply that Tracy Bautista suggested, I think it's not bad. So this time we're gonna brayer on. Let's see. Let's go for this tiny one. This tiny one was made out of a Ziploc bag. Oh, you can't even see it. Made out of a Ziploc bag. The snack size ones. So let's get out the cheap paint. Alright, so I got a little bit of the, and this stuff is pretty viscous. Is that the right word? I keep saying that. Jeez, it's been a long time since I worked. All right. Yeah, I definitely used some simple shapes. I didn't cut out anything fancy, that's for sure. Squares, rectangles. Not even squares, rectangles. All right. So this may get ugly because my brayer is bigger than my little piece of plastic here. So we gotta work it out. Look. Oh, that's bad news. It's making some cool mark. Let's go over here. So remember what I said about stickage and uh, static. All right, that looks cool. Let's turn this bad boy over. So we got a whole bunch of black paint on here. I'm gonna turn them over and just wherever it lied. Oh my goodness, this is a messy project, my friends. Messy, messy project. Yeah, I'm not. I can't handle messy food. What the devil's going on out there? Excuse me for a second. Hey, what's going on? Bella? No bark. Nick, shh, shh. Look at me. No bark. Apparently people don't like my stern voice. I can't get out that like I. Anyway, okay. I can't handle. What I was saying was I can't handle spicy food. In fact, I always say the spiciest thing I eat is ketchup on Kraft dinner. Or sorry, I eat ketchup on Kraft dinner. Pepper on Kraft dinner. That's the hottest thing I eat. Oh, look what I did now. Bella's got me all. Now I got. Oh, sweet goodness. Now I got paint on my brayer that wasn't supposed to have paint on it. Alright, so we've just made some mess there. Oh, yay me. It's funny though how sometimes she barks and sometimes, I mean, she'll go a whole time without, you don't even know they're there. I know, they're dogs, they bark. They're dogs, they bark. So I got a little bit of something, but that was hard because it was such a small bag and it was wrapping around my brayer and whatnot. Let's try some black with the other, uh, with the one that we made out of the big page protector. Let us try that. Oh, let's put it on this one. Let's put it on that. So I might not have a lot of paint here left. Let's try her again. Yeah, not enough paint left, as you can see. Not getting much paint left on. It looks like there's a lot of paint. Hey Jerry, good to see you, my friend. But not so much. Looks like there's a lot of paint left is what I'm saying, but really there's not. But I can flip it over. Let's see which side of this has paint on it. Let's flip it over here. See the difference between monoprinting, you know, the jelly plate releases most of the paint, right? Rather than you have more working time than a lot of these other ways, but definitely make some different things. Again, I have all this paint. Let's see if I can release a little bit of it and add some water. So you, my friends, have no excuses, right, to do mono printing. You can easily find something to cut up. We all have paint anyway, that's for sure. And we can just find something plastic to use as a stencil. Just build up some of that. Let's see, build some over here. Now I'm just cleaning up my desk. Ah, making a hot mess. Making a hot mess. I'm checking it twice. All right. All right. Yeah, I started, like I said, by next week, I will have decided officially. As you can see, if you follow me, if you follow and you sign up for notifications, you get reminders. Like if you go under where you follow me there, right up there somewhere, it'll say follow that. And then if you look down there, it'll say Facebook, Twitter, tweet. I would love if you use those buttons to spread the word. But by next week, I'll decide officially what time I'm going to stream on Wednesdays. Because right now, you'll see that I have shows, right? So upcoming scheduled shows, it shows my Saturday show. And then if you click that you're going to that, then you'll get reminder emails, right? If you accept, then you can kind of get reminders too. But I need to work out what exactly time I'm going to stream on Wednesdays, what time works best for me. So I'll have that worked out by next week so nobody gets all confused. And then I'll create a scheduled show there on Ustream. Then you'll be able to RSVP to it and not miss out again. All right, just cleaning up here. I got black paint everywhere. Use a baby wipe. So once I clean up here, what time do we got? 10 to 9. Yeah, sometimes they work. I'm not talking about notifications. There's difference between RSVPing to somebody's show when you follow them and getting the email notifications on. Look at my hands. You can also get email notifications, and sometimes they're shifty. Like I said, sometimes I'll get a notification that Dee Dee's streaming at 3 a.m., and I know she's not streaming at 3 a.m. unless Walter's up there doing something. But you can't exactly rely on that, no, on an email. Okay, so I got a little bit. Let's go back and see what we created and see if we can add a couple more textures. So as these get more and more paint on them, they become more and more sturdy. So I don't think I have to throw them out. Particularly the page protector one isn't too bad. Let's go back to this. So we have a pretty cool background, and from here, let's see. Let me take a sip of, move some stuffage around. So as you can see, I mean, you can create a couple of real simple stencils and masks out of plastic, a Ziploc bag, and create some pretty cool things. And but from here, really quickly, right? So it's just like if you're jelly plating with your jelly plate, right? If you're mono printing, it's fun to do a whole bunch of them at the same time because then you get all this, right? Rather than, just kind of doing a one-off in your art journal. Not saying that you can't, that's kind of fun, but it's also fun to use more than one piece of paper at a time and just kind of keep going. Alright, so before I add another layer on this, I think I'm going to use my heat gun to make sure it's dry. What a disaster I got going on. Heat gun. Yes, there's lots of things. Okay, so for example on Facebook, lots of you are friends on my Facebook, which I appreciate. I don't post very much to Facebook. If I'm posting to Facebook, it's something important. Pictures maybe, or like if I'm streaming, or like say I post on Facebook the other day with my mom. It was her birthday, and thanks to everybody who wished her a happy birthday. I really appreciate that. It cheered her up immensely. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, I mean, I don't post all like links. If I'm linking something, it's something that's really important to me, whether it's somebody else that I love or that really, which isn't very often that I post those type of things either. But it's something important. So if you want to follow me so that you get notifications on your phone whenever I post to my timeline, I promise you won't get more than 1 or 2 a day. Because I'm not that type of, you know what I mean? And again, there's also ways on Twitter too that if you go into settings, you can you know, set it so that you get notifications when I tweet, for example. So there's lots of different ways to follow like that as well. Um, but like I said, on Facebook, I promise I don't, you know, if you want to follow me on Facebook, I don't post a million things a day. You know what I mean? Heat gun. All right, so like I said, so now we got this fun background, and it's a little bit of a hot mess, which is okay. It still looks good. I think it looks good. Um, Now, let's see though what I want to add to it. So we got some black, blue. You know, maybe we need to go back and add some more orange. But again, we use dilution spray. So if I'm going to put paint on top of this, it's going to come through. The dilutions is going to come through, you know, the orange paint. But I want to see how we can turn this into a page. So, like I said earlier, we got this random stuff going on. So what I want to do is add more of a, you know, a commercially made stencil. Let's see what I got beside me here, which usually is quite a few. Let's see which one I want to use. I think I'm going to use this star. This is an older Crafter's Workshop stencil, 6x6, but it's got lots of opening, right? So I think because we have a lot of stuff going on here, right? Let's see if we, maybe that will just add too much more stuff. Hey, you know how I feel, let's just try it. So I'm going to bust out an orange paint and see what happens. Could make a hot mess, maybe not. I'll use some Americana. This is craft paint. This particular one's called Orange Twist. And I shall get a spoutzer. Night, Vaughn. Let's see what happens. I'm only going to try let's try it on the tip in this corner. So if it doesn't work out right, you know what I mean? Or it doesn't work the way I envision in my head, not that it's a problem, but, you know, we don't have a whole page full of something that may look muddy. So let's just try it out up here. So this is called a spouncer. They're made by Plaid. I didn't make up spouncer. You know, I like to make up words, but spouncer isn't one of them. It's an actual name. Alright, so got a little bit there. What I'm saying is, what I'm worried about messy is because I'm using a light colored paint with a whole bunch of darker dilutions. And you know, it comes up through the craft paint and I don't want it to look, I'm worried that it'll look muddy, I guess is the right word. But sometimes you just gotta do it, see what happens. Does anybody have any questions about the technique or what I showed about using, you know, cutting up a Ziploc bag or a piece of plastic? Hey, you can't get any easier than a plastic freezer bag. Except if you're like me and you don't have any freezer bags, you only have other size, thinner one. But I'm sure there's, you know, we could find a page protector or something plastic. I think the whole point of the, I shouldn't say the point, but why plastic is good is because when you use the sprays, you know, resist on plastic and therefore you can get that ghost print. So, yeah, that's a hot mess. I like it. Or as you know, what I say if I don't like something. Well, that's interesting. Well, it looked cool up here. I have not tried Diane's new paints, no, nor Dinah Wakely's paints either, or Dina Wakely's paints. So maybe once it dries, it'll be a bit better. Let me just add some paint. But man, that's a hot mess. That was not the right choice. But that's okay. It's a note I can make myself over here for the next time I attempt something like this. Then I will remember, you know. So I'm just taking my spouncer, right? Sometimes if I have too much paint, like I'm just making some circles with the leftover paint. See, this is what I want. This is what I mean about the giveaway. What I want, what I should be doing is working on something else rather than these other extra books that normally I use if I'm arting myself, and do something like this, you know, and then at the end of the show I will always have some type of, you know, paper to collage with or whatever that I could send out. All right, that's bad news. I don't like it. I don't like it, Vern. He's gone. I'm gonna dry it though. Hey, Patty. We are making hot messes tonight. See, now if I was smart, I would have used one of Patty's stencils, right? That, you know, in my head I thought, oh, I need something that, but I should have had a stencil that had more like this one. I know I keep using this because it's one of my favorites, but I needed one that had bigger, a stencil that had a bigger design, because now it's just, see, this is, I should probably just take this out and send it to one of y'all. And but we were being inspired tonight. If you're just joining us, we're doing a book review on Printmaking Unleashed by Tracy Bautista. You can get her over on Amazon or your local bookstore. This is her third book. And so as you can see, I got some hot mess going on. So let's dial this back. I need some dark blue paint. And let's finish a page out of this. See if we can finish a page. What time we got going on? 9 o'clock? Because lots of times, you know, we all make these things. We do all these jelly mono printing. I shouldn't even say just jelly print, but just mono printing in general, and then we don't do much with it, right? Okay. That orange was not the right color for this. I was taking a bigger brush. I didn't buy any brushes yesterday. I took some online classes with Tracy. I would love to take I would love to take an in-person class. I didn't buy any brushes. Alright, so let's just create some blocks, some very solid. I'm using a darker color. I don't want to use black, but I'm using a darker color so that the dilutions, you know, won't obscure, like I say, dilutions come up through acrylic paint. So sometimes, I mean, of course that's a cool effect, and you know, there's lots of things that we love to do with that particular ghosting technique, or what we like to call ghosting. But sometimes you don't want that, right? It could be too busy. So I'm using a much darker color. Oh, and I didn't tell you guys the color. This is, I've been using it quite a bit lately because this is Ultramarine Blue by Liquitex Basics. My email? Nope. I'm JournalArtista everywhere, so my email is just journalartista.com. At gmail.com, excuse me. Like I said, if you Google JournalArtista, you'll find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, my Fitness Pal, uh, everything. Sometimes when you use a big brush like this, you know, it's very easy to get rectangles and squares. I'm just using the size of the brush. Add a little bit more. I'm just using a damp brush. I haven't added any, you know, it's not watery or whatever. I want kind of thick paint. But I'm letting the brush do the work, right? It's a big flat brush. This is, it doesn't even say what one it is because I was bad and left it in water, so all the paint's peeling off of it. But it really is easy to just create squares and rectangles just by letting the brush do all the work. So I do like to make odd numbers. That's really, and make sure some of them hang off the edge. It's kind of the only rules I use. If I spray the dilutions with fixative, will the paint on stops still bleed? I haven't tried that, to be honest, Kim. I think some people have tried it. I'm sure there's somebody in the chat that will answer our question. Because I always know, you know what I mean, I consciously aware if I'm using those type of sprays, but I believe so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It definitely needs a few down here. Just a little guy. I'll tell you, I'm not used to working on one-page journal spreads. That's for sure. All right, so see what I mean? Normally, I would take this and, you know, put it in a different journal. But I think this time I'm just going to... Now I will add some water. Right, Leslie? Sorry, just you know that technique where Diane does to cover up with a solid stencil and you paint out around the stencil. So the color comes through the solid stencil. I'm not sure if I know what that not sure if I know that one or if I'm just thinking that it's something different, Laurel. Do you mean like my black gesso ghosting technique? Kinda. Yeah, this is fun, eh? See, I mean, I'm just this type of cleanup paper, right? That's what I want to send out as a little rack at the end of my shoulder. All right, like this type of thing. Like right now, I have 2 pieces of random collage paper, right? Night, Pam. She does a background. To be honest, I haven't watched a lot of Diane Reevely's videos. You will have to. She does a background, then she places solid and cut out and traces. Oh, you mean like where's my books now? Let us take a... I mean, you mean something like this? Where you have your background and then you draw a shape or place a die cut and then solidly paint everything around it. Let me see. We did a show. I've done that lots, to be honest. And this is the black gesso technique where, right, you spray over black gesso, the ink comes through. But where is that other, maybe what's not in this book? I've got so many books I can't even find the right one I'm looking for. But I think I know what you mean. Yeah. Oh, for sure, you black out everything you want. I've seen lots of different people do that, and I love it too. But I just can't seem to find an example of it. But yes, I agree. Please agree with that one. Got too many books on the go. So it's basically what Laurel is saying is the opposite of what I'm doing here, right? Here I'm adding paint specifically, you know, in specific spots rather than taking a jelly plate, a jelly print, or some type of... Oh, here it is. We did a stream on something like that once. Well, more than once. Something like this instead. We started with a deli paper, jelly printed. Holy smokers, that's hard to say. Background. So instead I just drew leaves and then I inked or I painted in behind it. So there's lots of cool ways you can do that technique. I agree, especially when you have a background like this. That'll be fun. All right. So anyways, I'm going to work on this one, and to me this is pretty much almost done. One thing I want to challenge myself, yeah, exactly, Laurel. That's what I should. It's another idea. It's the opposite of this, completely. If you think you have a hot mess, I absolutely agree with Laurel. If you think you have a hot mess, it's always good to create another shape and then, you know, black it all out. So rather than, for example, with the blue, instead of creating this rectangle, I would have drew the rectangle and left that empty and had blue paint everywhere else. For example, this doesn't have too many layers on it in particular, but I could have draw some squares. I'll just only do a little sample here, or whatever you want, or use a die cut or a stencil. I mean, it's just endless. Truly is endless, guys. There's so many cool ways you can do some of this stuff. Let me just try maybe a different. I'll use some purple here. Right, same type of thing. So we can put paint around it rather than inside. Oh, there was a paint booger in that. Nobody wants that, that's for sure. I mean, we like texture, but sometimes, I don't know, paint booger texture is exactly the texture we want. It doesn't have to be shapes. Die cut, like think of words, think of letters, alphabets, you know, anything, really. And then what you'll have left over when you go the opposite, you'll have some of your background peeking through, and it could be a busy background, right? So if you really, Laurel's right, if you have a busy background that you may think is a hot mess, you can always paint the outer edges instead. So two different ways, right? This time I'm painting on, this way I painted on top, very solid color, or you can paint around it as solid. solid color. Yeah. Paint boogers, extra. Free. Free, I mean. No charge. So speaking of which, right? Now let's gonna dry this. I got such a mess going on. Heat gun. I mean, truly, it's endless, guys. Right? When you think of something like that, I could have added stamp layers. You know, over this background, you could have added napkinage. You know, so many options. So many options. But let's see. I'm gonna use a black Sharpie brush pen. I love my Sharpie brush pens. They write over everything. Brush marker, I should say. It's not a pen, it's a brush marker. Now, it'll probably be hard for you guys to see. For me, it's just going to stand out a little bit more. I'm also going to go in with my black ink pad. This one is really dry, so forgive me. And there was some talk at Dee Dee's today, if you weren't there, about inking edges. Dee Dee did some cool art cards, and she used a makeup wedge and black paint. And it's definitely darker. I use an ink pad because that's the way I like the look of it. And I believe in you gotta find out which look you like the best. Just because I ink my pages with black, all of my pages, I do that because I love it. Hey Sandy, glad to hear you're feeling a little bit better. Now it's so Miss Anita wants some circles to offset the squares. Hey, I'm open to it. So just because I do it a certain way or somebody else you gotta try them all, see which one you like the best. My way's not the whenever, you know, you gotta do it the way that you like to do it. Alright, Miss Anita wants some circles. I definitely have some circles. Oh. But what color? Look at these nice ones. This is a Patty Tolly Parish stencil from Stencils. This one is Pac-Man Stacks. So, I hang that bad boy off the edge, and I have that one there. I want red. Does anyone else? I'm feeling red. Let's find some red paint. Berry red craft paint. Let's try it. Alizarin crimson. Let's see what happens if we mix both. Alright, and I think because I was using orange, I'm going to use the same spouncer. I didn't dip it in water, so it's okay to continue on using another color. If I dipped it in water, that's no good. It'll seep through your stencil. Oh, definitely needs some more cherry red, berry red. Let's see what happens. Because that's what it's all about. So I got a little two different colors of red there. No particular reason why. Try it out. Okay, so I got my stencil halfway off the page, half on. Thank you, Carrie. So like I said, I love the thought of having a very, you know, dare I say organic, that's not the right word. A random stencil that you created, right, that's kind of rough, you know, because, well, mine are rough because it was hard to cut plastic, or the cheaper plastic that I had. And then it's fun to mix commercial stencils that, you know, are a wonderfully perfect design. I just gotta be careful because one of those paints was a little runny. So I don't want it to go through the stencil very badly. So I just hold the stencil down and it'll peek through and say, ooh, that's looking cool. Let's try a bit more. Holding it down so it doesn't move. I need to add a little bit more paint. Yeah, we like to be in my stream. We love a good joke. Don't get me wrong, but also we want to always remain a little, try to remain on a politically correct side as to not offend anybody. Not to say I don't love a good joke, and we all love a good flocking joke. Flocking, F-L-O-C-K. We all love a good flock. But I really try to be. I really try to be politically correct. Oh, there goes what I just said, right? Oh, right. Whoa! Can you guys see that? That's cool. Now it's hard, right? My paints, some of it's coming through. We went over a very dark color. Again, still gotta be worried about some of those dilutions coming through, but I'm liking that. That was an interesting, that's definitely an interesting texture. That's cool. I'm liking it. Oh, like I said, got some extra paints going on over there, so let's go over into this one. Add some on here. Sorry I missed your show. Patty streamed, guys. Patty is Inky Obsessions. Patty Tully Parrish. And she streamed the other day. It was my Sunday, was it? It was my mom's birthday, so I went out for lunch, which was the only reason why I wasn't there. So that was awesome. Patty is the designer of this stencil. So a little bit of something on that. Alright, just to use up some, make sure I use up all the paint. Now I'm going to put that in my water and clean up my stuff. Linda. We all love a good joke. We all love a good joke. But at the same time, we don't want to, and let me tell you, people will let me know if I offend them. Alright. It's becoming a hot mess. Alright. So here we got this. Now. And I think I want to bring some of this white back. What I mean by that, I think I'm almost done. But I'm going to add my fluid acrylic, which, because I've treasured it for a few years, is not so fluid anymore. Like I said, this year, I'm using my stuff, my friends. Using my stuff. So make this a little bit wet. I just put out way too much paint. Thanks, Carrie. See, Laurel, how I think about stencils are just like stamps. I don't care if you have thousands. You can never have enough. I definitely don't have as many stencils as stamps, but I definitely have a few stencils. And it's the same philosophy like rubber stamps. I can't have too many. Alright, so I've got my wet brush, and I'll just do flick some splots, try to get some big ones, maybe. Bring the white back in. And I make huge messes. I mean, this stuff really flies everywhere. And it ends up on my computer, my face, and everywhere in between. So it can be messy. Oh, this. This is messy. But hey. Oh. You know what, Laurel? I'm an old school stamper. And it's just like our wonderful friend Jean, Music Scrap Jean. I can remember when, God love Jean. I can remember when she first started. No, I don't paint. No, I'm a scrapbooker. I have no desire. No, it's too messy. No, I'm not getting paint on my hands. No. And now look at Jean. Now look at Jean. We wore her down after 5 years. Well, 4 maybe. And now she's making some great stuff. So it's just practice, right? Alright, let's add some water to this one. A little something. So we made quite a few different things here. I like this page the best, actually. And it's probably because there's more white showing. It's less layers and it's more white. It's just like my watercolor, right? For a long time, I was so afraid to watercolor anything. And I don't mean watercoloring, coloring in a stamp image. I mean actually, um, painting with it. And you just got to do it. You just have to give yourself the permission to play and make a mess. And I sure made some hot messes when I started with the watercolor. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. You guys know it. I can't find. I don't know where my other book is at this exact second. I lie. It's right here. So for example, when I first started playing with watercolor, to see what it actually does or did, how it worked, and I have this uploaded. But see, if you can't say that this is a hot mess, this is a hot mess. But I was just seeing how it reacted with each other. I was just putting paint down and didn't care. Right? Sometimes you just have to give yourself permission to do that. I still have so much more white paint here. What was I thinking? I'm gonna have to get out too much white paint. Let's see. Since I have so much white paint, let's see if we can add, here's that stencil again, or the piece of plastic here. This is watered down, just regular paint here with water instead of glazing liquid or polymer medium. How is it possible to lose 2 brayers? Anyone see a brayer? Anyway, oh, there's one. Alright. So let's see the dogs. I just heard the dogs. They don't like that squeak. I think they think it's a mouse or something. Squeak, 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 squeak. See, they're barking again. They really do think that that's a mouse. Okay, I won't use it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Shh. Okay, Bala, enough. Alright, we'll go back to the other brayer before the dogs get... You know what I wonder? What would happen if I put... Excuse me for a second. If I... See, I've got this push pad, or if you had... This is an old Scrapworks thing. Maybe if you have a mouse pad at home. Let's see if we put something spongy underneath. Do I get a better... Oh, look at that. You still get some stickage from, the paint and the plastic. But you definitely get a way better sprayer. You get a little bit better, I think, impression from it. Let's try it again. Flip the Ziploc baggie over. I don't want to use my Fiskars anyways. This is my Fiskars rubber brayer. I guess it does have some paint on it anyway. Try her again. That's pretty cool. a nice sheet, right? And a couple layers. All right. Got all this paint now. Let's clean it up. Too much stuff on the go. My hand. This is whenever I work with dilutions. I should never project. Whenever I work with dilutions, oh my goodness, it's ink and stuff everywhere. Everywhere. Okay, let's go back to the page I started on. Wow, that's some dark blue. But you know, really practicing, and this is what I'm doing, you know, for Laurel or anybody that's um, I've turned this art journal. This is just Canson Mixed Media Journal. But what I'm doing is whether I'm practicing something from a book I'm reviewing or somebody's video I watched or something like that. What I'm trying to do is work on one side of the page, right? This is my test journal. So I'm not focused on completing a finished page, right? Although I have done, you know what I mean? I have completed some pages like this. But I'm trying to focus on learning. So just as I did with my watercolor journals, where I practiced a technique and then I took notes, including the date, right? I'm doing the same thing with this particular journal. I'm taking notes, creating pages, and then taking notes, right? So this is Flavor for Mixed Media by Mary Beth Shaw. And I used, this is the colors I used, right? And then I didn't write any notes on that particular one. On this one, why is it frozen? Anyways, I'm trying to take notes on what went good or bad. And of course, I can't come up with an example. Wait, what I'm trying to tell you. So, oh yeah, so what we did on Saturday, right? So next time I'm going to start from light to dark paint, because the first layer I did here was dark paint. And maybe that was the wrong choice. I should probably work light to dark, because I didn't like how it turned out. Or next time try to leave some white in the background. So when we tried this technique, when I scraped that blue paint, I scraped it over the entire page. Maybe I should leave a little bit of white next time or between layers, right? And then the green alcohol ink was definitely the wrong color, the lettuce, right? Or maybe in the wrong layer. So then I learned something. That's the only, and I take notes and try to take notes to better the process, right? Better my, just better myself and create, just create. Enjoy the process of creation and learn at the same time is what I'm trying to say. So this was my first attempt out of what came out of that, right? And now that I look at it, maybe the dark blue, I took it one step too far, I don't know. But I'm learning, you know, I can learn from that in the future, right? And I can look at all this and say, ooh, I really liked this. So why do I like this better than that, right? Well, probably because I went too dark with those squares or, you know, whatnot. So that you're constantly bettering, or that's what I want. I want to grow in my art. You know what I mean, Vern? Does that make sense? Drink some coffee. Phew. Yep. Like I keep saying, just because you may do 5 different things and one comes up well. Got practice. Because this is I don't even know if I could say, like, I'm tempted to do what Laurel said and just create sections out of this. I think I just built up so many layers that now I don't see any of the first prints that we did, which is fine. We tried something new. So anyways, guys, I hope that, and for me, when I do something like this, the easy to finish this page is get out some foam stamps like we did with this, if you want to finish it, right? This is just a foam stamp, or, you know, stencil or whatever. Do something big, something bold on that, and then you'll just have a cool background. Add some sticker letters, something like that. I probably should draw something, like this page we did. You know, I drew a cat, but I drew the silhouette of a cat, right? So maybe the same thing here. Maybe I need to draw something and then paint it over and save it. Like I could probably draw a bird and then paint them in. I won't do that on stream though. Just got it. Yeah. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm trying different things. I didn't enjoy this, but I learned something for next time. And I'm way harder on myself. I know we all are, right? Than most people. But I do have some goodies, some fun things that I do like, and whatnot. So I'll have a little giveaway, and you don't have to participate if you don't want. I will be sharing some of my one or two of these off prints, you know, extra stuff that I made here, and maybe a napkin or two. Just a little thing that fits in an envelope with a stamp, with just a few little goodies you can use in your collage from our show today. I'm gonna have to finish this. I'm gonna have to fix this. Anyway, check out Tracy Bautista's Printmaking Unleashed. Again, I mean, we just tried one specific thing yesterday, tonight, but there's so many different other ways of doing things using everyday found objects and all that type of fun stuff. So definitely check out Tracy Bautista's books. So tonight, I'll do a quick drawing. I'm gonna write a number down. How many people are in chat? 40 something. I truly appreciate everybody being here. Saturday we'll be back to Stencils. Saturday night, there's 36 viewers I see currently. So real quick, I'm going to put between 1 and 50, first person with the number without going over. It's the best thing I can do right now. I'm going to type go into the chat. You put in a number if you want a little envelope of goodies from me in the mail. I'm going to write the number between 1 and 50. I gotta try to choose a number that I didn't choose on Dee Dee's on Dee Dee's thing today, because all I can think of is the numbers that that I was doing over there. Okay, I wrote a number. I'm gonna press go. I don't know how much of a lag is. If you want something a little fun from me, you don't have to play if you don't want to. I forgot what my number is. I better look. Okay, I'm trying to watch as it goes by. Diane's not, Colleen? If Diane's not streaming, I'm going to work on that page and put something on top of it. I'm going to stay a little bit longer unless somebody else wants to do something. Between 1 and 50, Cindy. 1 and 50. 65. 1 and 50. All right. All right, everybody's in? I think everybody's in. 28. So a couple of people. I thought I saw Barb. Maybe my wonderful friend Carrie can help me out. I thought I saw that Barb was closer. Barb had 26. Does anyone have 27 or 28? Barb. I got some Barb some stuff anyways. Laurel has a haul? Hey, anybody want to go to Laurel's house? Anybody want to keep going, or do you want to see me? Laurel wants to haul. And I can work while I watch Laurel. I can finish this. What I'm going to do with this is draw something. Maybe a house with windows. I'm gonna work this out so that I'll push it to the background and add something to it. Because here I'm going to take a note while we're thinking of this, because I love how Patty's stencil here, this Pac-Man stencil, looked, but I wish I didn't put these down first. I think it would have been awesome if I didn't have these blue rectangles and I had just put Patty's stencil right on top of the printed background that I did. So I'm going to, so that was Barb, eh? Yay, Barb. And if you all don't know, the wonderful Barb Owen streams on Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern. What day is it today? Wednesday. Are you going to share with us on Sunday, Laurel? Anyways, I really liked, so I want to say stencil on top of the printed background. You know, before those ginormous squares. Or rectangles, dark rectangles. And this was Printmaking Unleashed by JournalArtista. And I am going to tip in this particular, or part of this. I might send half of it to Barb and then tip in half to say that this is originally what it looked like, and then that's where I went with it. That's where I went with it. Okay, what's the verdict? We're going to Laurel's? Yeah. I do have Barb's Addy, I believe. I am pretty sure I kept it. I kept it. Tracy has a free class coming up? Absolutely, we can talk about it. Is it on her website? Carrie posted the Tracy Bautista's website. Is Laurel streaming or not? Sorry, I'm going to heat gun this while we... And then, let's see, should I draw a house? Try to paint a house or what? Heat gun. Teresa says keep going. I got to work through the uglies on this bad boy. Heat gun. Okay. Thanks. She's having another one with a Strathmore. Awesome. She's one of the Strathmore artists. As you guys know, I've been watching the Strathmore videos over on their YouTube channel. All right. What should we draw? Let's draw a couple buildings. Some high-rise buildings. And I'm just using a big pen here. I have no problem, Laurel, going and watching you. You know I love to see hauls, especially if you went to a stamp store. Okay, so this time I'm gonna get some gesso. Thanks, Miko. Good night, Anita. Good to see you, my friend. So I took it way too far. The original technique, I really enjoyed printing. I really did. I had a good time using a simple Ziploc bag, and I think we made some cool stuff. It was all the other layers I put on top of it that got me frustrated. All these extra layers. Alright, let's find the brush here. This is a Daily Roundy gesso from Walmart. So when I paint this now, I still want to see some of the paint other layers. So I'm using, and I would say a wet brush. I dabbed it off a little bit, but I'm using a damp brush and more, you know, thinner paint. You can kind of see I'm moving the paint down a little bit, and still some of that color wash is going to come up through. Survivor's over. No Survivor spoilers. No, she went to 3 stamp stores. Okay, when's Laurel streaming? Like now? Let me just paint this, Laurel, then I'm going to your house, whether you're going to be there or not. I just want to show you what's going to happen with the gesso coming up through this. And then, I want to see what Laurel bought. You know why? Well, I love seeing Laurel's hauls. Anytime with it, but you know, I'm sure it's some new stuff, and because I'm out of the loop on all the new stuff. And Laurel always has some cool stuff. So I'm just going to show what happens, how when I do this, I like to be able to see some of the layers underneath. Tiny. And again, I believe in odd numbers and hanging off the edge. So this is a tiny building at the edge here. Oh, thanks, Carol. My Bella drawing with the elegant writers. I appreciate that. That was just a quick sketch. Oh, darn it. Sometime on Saturday, remind me. I know Judy's not here right now. I wanted to give her a little tip with them. And I used way too much gesso. Or I put way too much gesso out on my thing. Okay, this is what I want to show. Da, 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 da. Yeah, no spoilers. Night, Annabelle. So see how when I put this over now, well, particularly this green, that's really going to come through. That dilution is going to come through this gesso. It's going to go through. But still, I can even see some of the white from the other acrylic paint. I'm going to be able to see some of the dark. I see some of Patty's awesome stencil that's in red over here. Like, it's still kind of peeking through, right? And then I can just make, like, even this little thing already looks like a little building. And then I can just paint in, maybe I'll color it. I'm going to paint in some windows. And look, we'll be able to save it. That's it. All right. We're going to Laurel's house. Hey, Vicky. Yeah, everybody. Carrie will hook us up with a linkage. So, again, I truly appreciate you coming. I hope to see you Saturday. We'll have another drawing on Saturday. Same type of goodies. Like I said, I don't have much money for postage for racks, but I can definitely do some stamps on an envelope. I have no excuse not to rack when it's just stamps on an envelope, right? So try some plastic stencils out of bags from the wonderful Tracy Bautista. Check out her book, Printmaking Unleashed, if you don't already have it. It's one of my favorites. I think there's a lot. There's 50 techniques. And we'll all see you over at Laurel's. I will tweet, Instagram this bad boy when I'm done. Alright, love you guys. Thanks for being there.